December hit old Willow Creek, snow piled high along Main Street. Church bells ring through the cold, children laughing in their coats. My father preached salvation loud every Sunday to the crowd. Said the Lord sees everything, but he never really looked at me. I was 21 and full of rage, feeling trapped inside a cage, watching rich folks fill the plate while poor folks barely scraped a wage. The preacher's son stole Christmas Eve and nobody knew it was me. While the choir sang Amazing Grace, I was cracking open the safe. All those prayers and candlelight couldn't hide what burned that night. Yeah, the preacher's son stole Christmas Eve, and nobody knew it was me. Midnight came and snow fell hard, moonlight shining through stained glass. Choir voices filled the room, covering every sound I made. Hands were shaking, heart was fast, thought about turning back, but desperation talks real loud when hope's been buried underground. I grabbed the cash and slipped away, crossed the county line by day, left behind my father's name and every reason that I stayed. The preacher's son stole Christmas Eve and nobody knew it was me. While the choir sang Amazing Grace, I was cracking open the safe. All those prayers and candlelight couldn't hide what burned that night. Yeah, the preacher's son stole Christmas Eve, and nobody knew it was me. The years rolled by like passing trains, different towns and different names. Worked the oil fields, all frayed west, never found much peace or rest. Then one day a letter came, written in my father's hand, just 3 lines across the page: son, come home while you still can. When I got there he was weak, hospital bed, couldn't speak, but he smiled when he saw my face like no time had passed at all. I said, Dad, I took the money. He laughed the best he could, then pointed toward the window and finally said, I know. I knew that very night the church survived, the town survived. You were what I was worried about. The preacher's son stole Christmas Eve, but that ain't the story people need. The money came and money went like winter storms in government. The real crime was all those years running scared and hiding tears. Yeah, the preacher's son stole Christmas Eve, but grace was what found me. Every Christmas when snow comes down, the church still lights that old tree. And somewhere beneath those colored lights, an old wooden box still hangs on the back wall, with a little brass plate that reads, for lost sons finding their way home. stood in a black raincoat, reading numbers nobody wrote. 20 acres of barn, a well, and a house that had seen some hell. Folks kept quiet, heads hung low. Everybody in town still knew the old man living in that place had my eyes and half my face. The bank took everything he had, the same way life took mom and dad. But when that hammer finally fell, I bought the house I swore I'd sell. I bought my own ghost today, loaded up and hauled away. Every room had something left of the man I tried to forget. You can paint the walls and change the name, but memories don't leave that way. Yeah, I bought my own ghost today. I bought my own ghost today. Dust hung thick in the kitchen light, coffee cup still sitting right by the window where he'd watch the road. Every evening before it snowed, found his boots beside the door, just where they'd been 20 years before. And hanging there upon the nail, that old army jacket worn and pale. I used to think he didn't care, used to think life broke him somewhere. But every room began to tell a story different than I'd tell. I bought my own ghost today, loaded up and hauled away. Every room had something left of the man I tried to forget. You can paint the walls and change the name, but memories don't leave that way. Yeah, I bought my own ghost today. I bought my own ghost today. Then I found beneath the stairs a wooden box he'd hidden there, letters tied with faded twine. Every single one was mine, birthday cards he never sent, every dollar that he'd spent, pictures from my little league, ticket stubs and report sheets. One letter read, son, I know you think I never loved you so, but some men learn too late in life how to say what's on their mind. Rain kept falling on that roof while 40 years became the truth. All the anger I had carried round started breaking down. I sat there where he used to sit, holding words he'd never given. For the first time in my life, I cried for him. I bought my own ghost today, thought I'd drag him all away, but every board and every nail had another truth to tell. Turns out ghosts ain't dead at all. Sometimes they're fathers after all. Yeah, I bought my own ghost today, and somewhere in that old house light, I found him one last time. The auction's over now, the crowd is gone, the rain has stopped, but some things stay long after they're gone. it go. Static singing through the walls. That old Philco by the kitchen sink should have died years ago, I think. Power's off to half the house. Mice got into the wire somehow. Yet every night that little light glows blue against the dark outside. Folks in town say let it go, sell the place and move along. But every nail and every room still sounds like Mama humming tunes. Mama's radio still plays at midnight. Same old songs through the pouring rain. Like she's sitting in that kitchen laughing, calling all of us by name. Every gospel, every country tune drips through this empty place. Yeah, Mama's radio still plays at midnight. Nothing's been the same. She raised 3 boys on factory pay in faith that somehow we'd be okay. Daddy left when I turned 10, never heard much from him again. Mama worked till her hands turned rough, still somehow made it feel enough. Sunday mornings, coffee strong, and that old radio singing along. When cancer came, she never cried, just watched the fields outside. Said, boy, don't waste your life running from the things you leave behind. Mama's radio still plays at midnight. Same old songs through the pouring rain. Like she's sitting in that kitchen laughing, calling all of us by name. Every gospel, every country tune drips through this empty place. Here, Mama's radio still plays at midnight. Nothing's been the same. Last December I stayed away, determined I would solve this thing. Pulled that radio from the shelf, checked every chord by myself. Then 12:03 came rolling round, and music filled that house somehow. Not from speakers old and worn, but from the hallway by her room. I froze. Coffee slipped right from my hand, and then I heard her voice again. She said, son, your brother needs a call. Your daughter thinks you don't care at all. Quit carrying guilt that's 20 years old, and stop growing bitter before you grow old. Then silence fell across the floor, like she wasn't there anymore. Mama's radio still plays at midnight, but tonight the station finally died. No more music through the darkness, no more voices in the night. I called my brother the next morning, called my little girl at noon, and for the first time since she left, I knew exactly what to do. Yeah, Mama's radio still plays at midnight, at least inside my mind. "12:03. The house is quiet now, but every time an old song comes on, I still look toward the kitchen, expecting to see her smile." stop diner off Highway 9. Coffee burned and neon signs. A waitress named June worked every shift since 1986. Table 7 by the glass stayed empty while the decades passed. Nobody sat there after dark, not even drifters passing through the park. Every Friday folks would ask, why keep saving that old spot? June would smile and pour their coffee and say, because somebody promised. There's an empty chair at table 7 waiting where the old lights glow. 30 years of dust and weather, still refusing to let go. Some folks leave and stay gone forever. Some get lost somewhere out there. But hope keeps showing up for work at table 7's chair. Back in '89, a local boy left this town chasing bigger noise. Army boots and a nervous grin, said he'd be back by Christmas then. His girl worked nights at that same place, could never hide the smile on her face. He kissed her hand and took her ring, said save my seed till spring. The war came hard, the letters stopped, the news reports moved on, and everybody else eventually assumed he was gone. There's an empty chair at table 7 waiting where the old lights glow. 30 years of dust and weather, still refusing to let go. Some folks leave and stay gone forever. Some get lost somewhere out there. But hope keeps showing up for work at table 7's chair. His girl got older, hair turned gray, still came in most every day. Ordered pie and coffee black, always facing toward the tracks. Young folks thought it kinda strange to spend a life that way, but old June knew some promises ain't built to fade away. Then one November evening came, cold enough to freeze the rain, and the diner door swung open, slow. Old army coat, silver hair, weather carved into his face. He stood there looking all around like a man returning from outer space. Then his eyes found table 7 and the woman sitting there. Neither one could speak at first, neither moved from their chair. That empty chair at table 7 finally found who it belonged to. 30 years of miles and sorrow couldn't break a promise in two. Some folks laughed and some folks cried. June just smiled and walked away, because hope had kept that chair alive for this very day. The diner closed a year ago. Highway 9 moved farther west, but if you ask around that town, they'll tell you this: not every promise dies. Some just take longer to come home. They found her truck by Miller Creek, driver door hanging in the weeds, engine cold, radio low, like she left just moments ago. Sheriff searched for miles around, boot prints fading in the muddy ground. No goodbye, no forwarding address, just questions nobody could answer yet. Folks built 100 tales over coffee cups and courthouse rails, but none of them knew the truth she kept folded in an envelope. She left me her last bullet, wrapped inside a letter fold. Said, if you're reading this, darling, don't grow old the way I grew old. Keep your heart from turning bitter, keep your soul from turning cold. Yeah, she left me her last bullet, and a truth I didn't know. I met her back at 17, county fair and faded jeans. She laughed loud and drove too fast, like she already knew life wouldn't last. We talked about California skies and all the places we'd someday find, but years have a way of changing plans when reality gets involved. Bills came due, dreams got small, and little by little she disappeared behind them all. She left me her last bullet, wrapped inside a letter fold. Said, if you're reading this, darling, don't grow old the way I grew old. Keep your heart from turning bitter, keep your soul from turning cold. Yeah, she left me her last bullet, and a truth I didn't know. The letter said, I watched my daddy drink away every dream he ever made. Watch my mama lose her smile, one heart season at a time. Nobody breaks all at once, it's slower than most people think. You wake up one day and realize you've become what you swore you'd never be. Then came the lie that hit me hardest. The bullet isn't meant for flesh, it isn't meant for blood. It's for the part inside yourself that gives up on love. Kill the fear, kill the anger, kill the man who quits, but don't you ever kill the boy who still believes a little bit. She left me her last bullet, wrapped inside a letter fold, and every word she wrote that night hit harder than lead ever could. I never saw her one more time, never learned where she had gone. But 20 years after Miller Creek, her voice still carries on. Keep your heart from turning bitter, keep your soul from turning cold. Yeah, she left me her last bullet, and I finally know what it was for. Somewhere out there, maybe she's still driving, maybe she's finally free. But every time life gets heavy, I hear her words and load that bullet into the darkness. Instead of myself,